Yeah, I'm pretty late on this review. Sorry, guys, but it better late than never. Moana 2 is the sequel to Moana, and it tells the story of Moana. She receives an unexpected call from her wayfinding ancestors, and she goes on a journey into Oceania through long lost seas to go on an adventure unlike anything she's ever been on before. Okay, so when I explain that plot, you expect big surprises, epic scale, shit like that for Moana 2. That plot is misleading. Well, the unlike anything she's ever been on before kind of thing. Because this movie is a rehash of the first one. I'm not kidding. It is a rehash. It's pretty much the same movie, except this time, Moana is pretty much separated from Maui and instead teamed up with a bunch of fucking idiots. I almost said the R word. I don't want to get canceled. A bunch of idiots that are not funny. And there you go. There's your movie. You could tell I am not impressed by this movie. Disney was kind of redeeming themselves this year when it comes to their theatrical releases. That went down the toilet with this movie because this movie sucks. I, along with many other people, love the first Moana. The first Moana is a great film. It is a gorgeous looking film with great songs and an exciting story. This movie is none of that. This movie does have beautiful animation. I'll give it that. This movie looks gorgeous too. The animation is great. I'm not going to knock the movie for that. And then the character of Moana and the character of Maui, they are likable. They're still the same likable characters they were in the first one. But that's where it kind of ends. Oh, and the final act of this movie isn't that bad. It's pretty entertaining. Like the last 20, 30 minutes or so. Because you get a pretty beautifully animated action scene involving Moana battling weather and shit. It's pretty good. I found that pretty entertaining. That's where my positives end here. How I can describe Moana 2, it's got the look and the budget of a regular Disney theatrical animated release. But it's got the story and the writing of a bad Disney direct-to-video sequel. You remember those? That's what this movie kind of came off as in terms of story and writing. This movie felt half-assed, made by committee, 100% obviously. I can't see any passion that went into this movie besides the hard work that came from the animators. That's where all the effort was put in. All the animation. When it comes to writing the plot, conceiving the plot, I don't see any passion or effort put into this at all. And, of course, this movie wasn't intended to be a theatrical release. I'm just echoing what everyone else said in their reviews because I'm pretty late on this review, but yeah, this was meant to be a Disney Plus series. And it's got the effort of most of the shit that's on Disney Plus. If this movie would have been a Disney Plus release, it would have been right at home on there. I don't know what the fuck is up with Disney and not putting effort into their animated films anymore. The last great Disney animated movie I have seen was Encanto. Okay, let's go back a few years, okay? Frozen 2 was not good. What was after Encanto? Oh yeah, Strange World. I keep forgetting that movie exists. And that's because that's how forgettable that movie was. That was a boring, forgettable movie. What did we get last year? Wish. And that was an insult. Wish was terrible. I will say, this movie is better than Wish. Because at least this movie doesn't look ugly like Wish. At least this movie tries to have a plot, It tries to have likable characters at least, not annoying, boring, forgettable, lifeless characters like Wish did. The only aspect of this movie that annoyed me in terms of characters were the characters that Moana was teamed up with. The absolute morons that she was with and that were not funny. You know what else this movie does somewhat better than Wish? The songs. Even though the songs in this movie are nowhere near as good as the songs in the first one, and they're quite forgettable too, I think I'll have an easier time remembering the songs in this movie than what I will in Wish. I don't remember a single song from Wish. I have not seen that movie since it came out. And yeah, I don't remember a single fucking song from that movie. At least the songs in this movie, well, yeah, forgettable, not as catchy, not as memorable as the songs in the first one. They weren't terrible. I'll give the movie a little bit of credit where it's due when it comes to that aspect. There isn't really a big variety of things to say about Moana 2, other than that it's just a very mediocre movie. It's just the first movie, just done way worse. The first movie was charming, it was exciting, it was entertaining, it was fun. I love the first Moana. It is a great film. I really wish Disney would go back to making great films like that. They did a few years ago. They did prove they still got it with Raya. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Raya and the Last Dragon. I love it. I will defend that movie at all costs. It is a great film. And Encanto was also great. Disney still proved that they can make great films. But then the past couple of years, with Strange World and Wish, it seems like they're not trying anymore. And at least I will say Moana 2 is better than the previous two animated films that they came out with, but it still seems like they're not really trying. This movie, this is just a boring version of the first one. Just everything done worse except for the animation. If you like this movie, that's great. I'm really glad that you had fun. And I was excited for this movie, because I was thinking, okay, it's a sequel, but hopefully they try this time. They did a little harder than the past couple of movies, but not by much. It's just okay, I'm going to use a little bit of modern talk here. This movie is mid. Yeah. I'm usually not the kind of person to talk like that, but that's a perfect way to describe Moana 2. Is it one of the worst movies of the year? No. Do I think it's insulting? Not really. I think if you're a kid, you will love this. This is a perfect movie for kids. Moana was for families. I think Moana 2 is more for kids. There you go. If you're a kid, have fun. You will love it. But for everyone else who expected more, Moana 2 is unfortunately a disappointment. I am going to give Moana 2 a C-.